So this is it starting yet? Okay, so it started. Oh, this is gonna feel so weird. So this is gonna be the mini podcast, I guess. I like mentally prepare myself for this. It's gonna be so cringe when it comes out. Like, I can't wait to just hear my cringy voice. Anyways, so it's gonna be so unfair. What? Anyways, I found out recently that there's actually leaks of week 7 for FNF. Can't say so. Yeah, it looks like we're fighting Biggie Cheese from what was it? Like the backyard. Was it? It was like the barn house, whatever it's called. Biggie Cheese. I just calling him that, even though his name's not Biggie Cheese. I'm calling him that. His name is Biggie Cheese to me now, and that's just a joke. Yeah, Ritz, like this, like, oh, I think it's just why I joke. Ritz, like the cheese cracker Ritz. I don't know much about him. That's what you heard. Anyways, that's kind of weird because we're fighting off against T. Gonna be the best rap battle in history, like the epic rap battle of history. Also, I found some. I've really just been going off the deep end in YouTube videos recently. I stumbled across some shitpost statuses. Well, I could just send you one second. Let me send you one of the videos that I found recently. I kept this on my watch later playlist because I just want to rewatch it. This is, it's like yeah, it's like if if like Velma did like some crack. Anyways, since the weekday is coming up, weekend days, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't care. I don't really care what it's called. Because either way, the next 2 days I won't have to do anything. I'll just be sitting down and being myself, which being myself means just weird. I'm just hoping that nobody realizes me.
Scooby, Shaggy, oh my god, Daphne, Frederick, oh my god, Mystery Inc. Oh, where is everybody? Oh my god, I'm just thinking, is it a man in a mask or is it actually aliens? Oh,
I just had something in thought in mind, and I keep forgetting everything.
Oh my god, where could they be? Jinkies, oh my god, where are they? Oh my god, let's solve this mystery for once and for all. Mystery Inc. rocks, yeah! Daphne!
Just going to wait for that, and then what? Yeah, definitely. Crackhead Velma took the wrong Scooby snacks. Know what I mean? Did too much. Too much of the druggage. No, I can actually. Yo, this edible ain't shit. I remember that meme, but I didn't see much of it, sadly. Because by the time I saw it, it was already dead. Stupid. It was a good meme. It was a good meme, but it doesn't get into the recommended enough, and it's stupid. Dude. Anyways, but, on a little side thing. Wait. My brain just, like, died. Yeah, memes die really quickly. But remember when Doge came back as a meme? That was great. Just beautiful. Just mwah, the classic meme. Because we needed that thing back. Yeah, I still remember that. Yeah. Because people just turned him into a horror character now, which is stupid, because, you know, he was never meant to be that. Whereas, before you know it, there's going to be like an actual creepypasta of the troll face now. Or, it's going to be like, ironically, on the troll pasta wiki. Because that's an actual thing. Because, yeah, stuff happens. He died right now. Yeah, have you ever, there's like one creepypasta that like everybody knows of besides Slenderman, and that's Sonic.exe. Did you know that got put onto the Troll Pasta wiki? Even though it wasn't meant to be that. Yeah. There's like, I watched the video on it, and this happened like a while ago. Yeah, I watched the video like a while ago, and it was a rather old video, but I never knew this. That Sonic.exe got onto like a troll pasta wiki. Then what happened was that the autistic war happened between a furry and his autistic followers, as the man says himself, not directly quoting him, but it's something like that. Yeah, believe it or not, the person who made Sonic.exe was a furry. Shocking, I know. Nobody ever knew this until, like, afterwards. I didn't even know that. I don't really care for who created it. And then, while we're on the topic of Creepypasta version, the Godzilla NES Creepypasta has, like, a sequel in the works. There's a sequel in the works right now. It takes place, like, where it left off after the other one, where, like, the character who has the NES cartridge is selling it on eBay. And somebody takes the cartridge, and apparently the whole premise of it is that the cartridge is meant to like be like a personalized thing, like something in particular that only affects you, like the person who has it, who's like gone over like some serious trauma that they can't forget. Like it's a little curse, and that kind of puts more lore into it. Because it's interesting. And yeah, Godzilla NES game, Monster of Monsters. Basically, yeah, and it actually looks really good. There's still, like, also, the person who made the creepypasta actually had a DeviantArt, and he, like, put sheets of the characters. Like, characters that he made, like, little sprite sheets. Each for them. There's also a game in the works for the, Godzilla Creepypasta NES game. No, I never did ships. Anyways, there's the game in the works, which is still, it's taking a while to do, because the story has a lot of pictures of it. There's, of course, a lot of pictures in the original story of it, but it's kind of hard to recreate the gameplay of what the Godzilla NES game would be like. So if this was actually happening, it's hard to recreate that gameplay. Even though it's very descriptive and, like, you know, the prime example of what a creepypasta should be. Descriptive stuff, there's some mystery to it. Yeah. But, so, what I've seen so far is that they did, like, a little, like, they, changed some of the sprites. Like, something more notable is the Godzilla Sprite, because, it looks a bit different face-wise, than the actual one. And, of course, it's not going to be as buggy as it. Yeah. They already made a Godzilla versus King Kong, but now they're remaking it in like 2021. I don't understand why. Because it came out in 2016. 5 years later, they're making another one. Yeah, but it's not a good idea to use the same thing. Anyways, back on the topic of the Godzilla NES. So, uh, yeah. And here's another thing that I found out. What was it? Yeah. So, I want to stay on the topic of, like, the Godzilla Creepypasta thing, because I have something to say about it. It's the ending that most people are, like, mixed about, but then, since there's a sequel that not many people know about, it kind of makes sense now, because he wanted to recreate it, but people didn't want that. But it's taking a very long time to make this sequel, because they don't want it to be reused the same thing. They actually want it to be creative. They wanted to make it as good or possibly better than the previous one. Yeah, the original. It's still the same person who made it, I believe. Yeah, they want to make it like an original idea. They still gotta have the same concept, but like different things going on. Because the entire premise of the original one was a kid. I forgot his name, but he had a friend named Billy, and his friend Billy sends him the NES game because he really, as a child, he used to play that a lot, and really liked the game. And he puts it into the cartridge because he can't wait. He just really wants to play it, and without hesitation, he just goes straight into it, and he gets so much nostalgia from it. But then he goes to fight Ghidorah, and something weird happens when the fight. Ghidorah is like, it's like a giant squid monster. No, they're kaiju. They're all kaijus. There's giant squid monster. It's literally just that, a giant squid monster. So then you could say that, but anyways, he like pushes. He's playing as Godzilla because you get Godzilla and Mothra at the beginning. Those are your only two characters, and then he starts fighting it. The battles aren't supposed to last more than like a few seconds, like less than a minute, or maybe like 1 or 2 minutes. But then he claims that it went on for 5 minutes, for like about 5 minutes. which he found strange. Which he obviously found strange because if he used to play it a lot, he would know usually how long it would last. And then at a point where like he gets pushed into the corner and he can't move, and then the game breaks. It's like red everywhere, like it's red and black, and there's a bunch of like Gizora's eyes put around everywhere, and it's like they're all facing the direction of it. So then he just finds it maybe, and it's really well written because he's trying to make himself believe that maybe this is a ROM hack, but at the same time, Billy doesn't know how to make hacks, so how would this happen? But maybe he got it from somewhere else and didn't question it that much. Maybe it's just a glitch. Maybe there's stuff in the cartridge, so he blows into the cartridge like any other normal person would do. And then he goes to play and fights Gizora again. It's perfectly fine. Then he goes on to the next stage, which is like, you start off at Earth, then you go to like another planet, I forgot. I believe the next one is Venus, maybe? Mars? Not sure. Yeah, but he's like a very optimistic person, so he would have no problem with it. It's just like, oh, it's just a simple glitch, everything's fine. And then he places the game back in, and then he goes into the next planet. Everything's fine, everything cool, everything's dandy. He goes to fight it, and then it's just like regular things. Stuff that happens. Everything's just normal at that point. They're like point of stage. Everything's normal. But then, when you're supposed to go to like another planet, instead of it, it says Pathos. And he's like completely questioning this. Then he says, this is in the original game. Maybe it was like a beta test build. It's like a beta build. It means that he thinks that maybe this is just a beta test build. Maybe Billy found this. He just like, got it, okay. This is a test build. It was just a test build. Beta test build. Then he realizes that another monster that was not in the game, but he understands this naturally, because if it's a beta test build, it makes sense. Hence, oh no, wait. Okay, let me go back. He realized that there's a kaiju in there that was meant to be put in the game, but was never put into it. This is what like triggers this thing to be a beta test build. I forgot the monster's name, but it wasn't in the game, and he beat it naturally, and he was just getting used to it. And then what happens is next is that he plays the game, he is playing it, and then he realizes there's a kaiju there, and that kaiju didn't come out until a year later after the game's release. And this makes him feel very strange. So maybe, it's still a test build. Maybe it was just to hype up the character. I forgot the kaiju's name. I don't remember it. But then he goes on to play the game. He plays the game, and then there's weird things such as the moon being completely red now, and it's just like freaks him out a little bit. But it's just like, it's okay. Everything's fine. Fine. And, yeah, go on. Yeah. Yeah, because he thinks that this is a beta test build. This was meant to be in the game. He's gonna name it Pathos. Because maybe they wanted to get it out of there. Get it, like, out that maybe not everything is as it seems. Then, when he goes to fight the monster, he selects yes again, and then the monster completely changes into something different. Like, the first time he fights one, it's a monster that's not supposed to be in there until further on into the game. And then he still fights it, he beats it, then he goes on to fight, like, Gizora again. But this time it turns into a monster that was never seen before. It was like never seen before. He had no clue of this. He was a big Godzilla fan, so he would know a lot of them. And naturally, I don't remember the name of this one because I know I watched this like I was watching the story read like 3 weeks ago, and then he realizes that it's still just a beta test build, just a glitch, maybe. Still just a beta test build. Maybe they were trying to add in their own monsters and stuff. 2 monsters that were in the game ever before. Like, you see how it's like he's more human and he doesn't want to believe that something supernatural is going on. Yeah, because he doesn't want to believe that something supernatural is going on. Because this is just like a human mindset. Try to think of anything logical before jumping to conclusions. So he's written like an actual human being. Yeah, they don't want to believe it. So then he goes in, and then he goes to fight the kaiju that was never there. And the weird thing that he found out, he found something weird, that how it was in the same spot, and every time it was that turn that monster wanted to move, it never moved throughout everything. And the templates also changed to like weird things as well. Then he kept going. And then when he goes to fight it, it was like the monster had 2 phases, and he found this cool. Because it makes sense, because it's not in like his final form yet. Then he goes into his final form, and then he beats that. And then what he realizes something. He realizes something weird. He realizes that something weird, that the space now changed, and it was a picture of a monster's face there. This was never in the game, and he was so freaked out by this, but he still just said it's okay, there's nothing wrong. And because like usually you have to destroy the space stations in order to progress the levels, but there was none there. So he goes into the level that wasn't there before, and then he realizes that this is the part where he realizes that this game is not right. This can't be a beta build. These things were never in there. This can't be a beta build. And then he's just like, And then he's just like, gets that sudden realization, and snaps into it, and he's just like, okay. But he's getting curious. He wants to keep progressing in the game. He feels like he has to, like there's something to uncover here. Like there's gonna be something to uncover. So he keeps playing the game. So he plays the game now. Now then, he plays the game. Then he keeps going forward. It's like a background in golden flames, a bunch of pillars and shit. He keeps walking forward. He's playing as Godzilla. No, I think it's either Godzilla or Mothra. I believe it's Mothra that he's playing as. And then at one point in time, he realizes a creature like zoom past in the background. And he's so freaked the fuck out by this. And he just keeps going. He's just like, okay, just keep going. All things happen. And then text appears above him saying run. And he does naturally that. He keeps progressing forward. And then this thing comes up from behind him. And the monster's name is Red. It's like this grotesque, spider-like thing. It's like a human face and shit. It's like skins and bones, like a deprived man. Like malnutrition person. Like that's what the torso looks like, and it's just like all fucked up and shit. And his name is Red because the only colors on him are red and black. Like, but he doesn't question this. He finds out the monster's name later on, or the supposed demon is what I like to call it. And then he goes on to it, and then the monster eventually catches up to him, and he, like, holding Mothra. It's like Mothra is, like, paralyzed, can't do anything. Like, this mouth comes out of his hand like a fucking xenomorph. Or it grabs Mothra and it rips its wings off and eats it. Yeah, it's that. And it fucking... And then he's, like, so scared by this. But he wants to get out of the game, but his body physically cannot move. He can't get out. And he just can't move. No, like, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He just can't move. So he thinks that I just have to play the game. And then he keeps going forward. And this time, he gets past red. Gets past red this time. And Mothra comes back, because that's how the game works. He finds something out. Then, this is where a new character comes in. He's called The Face. He's not a hostile character. He's not a passive. He's more of a passive character. He doesn't know much about him. He doesn't have lore. Cause there's like question mark titles. There's like a question mark title that's like unavoidable for him. So he goes on to it. And then it's like a quiz. And it's just like, further on in the game he realizes there's no right or wrong answers. It doesn't matter what you pick. It's always going to be right. Right? It doesn't matter. So, The Face is more like a helpful character to him. He has multiple different faces, and some of them he like deciphered what some of them mean, and just like, okay, this. Then some of them he doesn't know. Like, up to like 30 faces that he has. I believe it was. And then further on, and even sometimes The Face would ask him, do you want a new monster? And he says yes, and then he gets a new monster. So, he's more like this friendly character to him. And then, so he keeps playing the game, and then he has more and more monsters, and more he goes to The Face. So every time he sees a question mark tile, he goes to The Face, because he knows that he has the chance of getting a new monster. It's just like okay for him. And he feels rather, and he described himself that he feels rather safe in that place. Like, he takes it as a moment to just take a breather and just relax. And then he goes on to play the game. So, like, The Face is more of like a helpful character to him in multiple different ways. So he keeps going on. The levels get weirder and weirder. And every time now, there is no space station. There's not a single space station. He always has to run from red. Not always run from... Yeah, he does have to keep running from red. But in different ways. Such as, like, red is like a virus. It's like a virus who keeps mutating. Like, he mutates in different ways throughout all the levels. And some of them are repeated. To try and catch him up, but it doesn't work because but he can change back to anything he wants. He's like a shapeless being, sort of. And one of these times he finds like a thing. He goes to like a stage that like sort of represents a graveyard. Then he finds this out. Then he finds like a character. She's a character there. And he's just like, oh, this looks interesting. And he's just like, and then text shows up on the screen telling him like a story that like this character knows him, and like she means no harm. And then at this point, then it's just like a scene of red. No, not yet. That's not what happens yet. So then, next, what happens is that we're gonna skip some things here. Okay, so here's like a next big scenario. He escapes red for like another time, and then in like a sheer amount of excitement, he screams, "Yeah, and you're not getting me this time, you red fucker!" And then Red looks directly at him through the screen, and he's just like paralyzed in shock. And it says nothing. And he's just like fucking scared. And then the screen just goes away. And then he's just like so scared. Yeah. He says nothing. And then it just progresses with the game. And then he's just like laying that. And then he's just like saying, okay, this is maybe just a coincidence. I don't think he's actually knowing. And then he just like calms himself down. Yeah, he just like calms himself down by saying it's just probably a coincidence. It's probably a coincidence. And then he just like goes on with his life, just goes on with it, and keeps going. Then, I know I'm skipping over a lot of stuff here, but this is basically just a basic summary of it. So, he goes on now, and then, he proceeds to go on with the game and stuff. He has like lots of new monsters and stuff, and he's just like always progressing with the game and stuff. But now, this is like where the major shit kicks in. He goes to the face quiz, and he's just like, the face now looks worried and scared, and just says, quit the game while you can. Just like saying, quit the game while you can. And just stop, just try and turn off the game. But he can't, and the face is knowing. Like, this is when he realizes that the game is actually talking to him. So the face is like fucking scared, and then at the sheer moment, the face just like fucking dies. Red kills the face, and like he's bleeding out of his eyes and mouth. Like, it's so disgusting. Like, it's just like a waterfall of blood. But it's put in such a way that's creepy. And then that's when he gets more dialogue about it. When he meets this character, you remember the character I was talking about, the girl character that he met in like the cemetery. Red directly talks to him and saying, I remember. Don't you remember your girlfriend? And then he goes like, holy fuck. This is when like the character has like this sudden breakthrough in just like realizing what the fuck is going on. Red has been torturing his girlfriend for like years on end, and throughout this entire game. And he had a girlfriend like in high school or college, not sure. She had a mental disorder, so she was like a bit like little thing. She would do random things, and like she can't control it. But he was always supportive and always helped her. One day they were sitting out and just said, just like, yeah, they were just sitting out, and then she had an episode, and she was just like breaking down and crying, just like, and onward, and so forth. Okay, and next what happened is that she runs out into the road, and then a car hits her. And like at this moment, he has like a mental breakdown during this. Yeah, cause like he couldn't do anything to help her. She did this herself. And then Red says directly to his face, I'm the one who did that. I was the one inside her head. I made her do that. And it's just like this honest part of him that just like feels so fucked right now. And he's just like so berserk right now. Now, so like he can't control his emotions, and like he starts crying, I believe it was. Then he just has to keep moving forward. There's nothing he can do. He can't stop. He has to keep going forward. And then next what he does is that this is when the fucking crazy shit hits in. Okay. So that being that you saw there was his girlfriend, like the embodiment of his girlfriend. And then he finally has to do this. He has to fight Red, the final boss of the game. So he has to fight him. And then what had happened next is that he's fighting Red, but this time he's just like so fucked up in the mind right now because Red is doing shit to him right now. And next what happens is that he's fighting him. He has all these monsters. He has like every monster that he's gotten from the face, and just Mothra and Godzilla. Then he fights him. He fights Red, but then every time his monsters got hurt, he could feel that pain. Like, he could physically feel it, and it hurt so much. He could barely deal damage to Red, because he had so much health. It's kind of... It's weird. Yeah. It's a weird thing. This one isn't explained, because we're only going through, our main character's perspective on this. Because he can't explain everything. Because this is how it's meant to be written. So then, he goes onwards, and then he fucking is in so much pain, and he uses his last monster, and it dies. And he's just like, this is the end, I'm fucking dead. This is how my life ends. But then, his girlfriend appears on the screen, as the body, as like the being. I've mentioned this before, but, like, Red was, it showed, like, Red eating his girlfriend, and, like, the body, like, the being. Yeah. Like, the being. And just, like, ate it. I forgot to mention that. And then, she comes into the screen, and just, like, saying, you don't give up. You can win this. Red has been torturing me for years. She explains what's been going on. She can't explain everything, though. She can only explain what she knows. And then, you have to defeat him and set us free. So, like, all the monsters there are kind of, like, real. They're, like, sentient. They can feel. They want to be freed. They don't want to live this life. And then, what happens next is that the main character's girlfriend gives him a character. I forgot the name, but it's called the Being of Light. And then so anyways, back to it. We're almost towards the end anyways. So then, at this moment in time right now, the main character, he's defeated Red. Red is dead now. That rhymed, but okay. I don't know. But then, the screen shows up with all the monsters and his girlfriend there saying thank you. We will live. We are free now. We thank you. And just like telling them, please destroy this game. But then this is where the ending comes in. This is where like a little bit of a confusion ending comes in. So the character doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to break the game. No wait, I forgot to mention that the girlfriend said that we'll meet soon. We'll meet again soon. And then oh no wait, we'll meet again sometime, I believe. Then he goes back. He's thinking this over. He doesn't want to destroy the game. He wants to destroy it, but at the same time he does. So he keeps thinking to himself, should I destroy it? Should I not? Because I don't want this game to fucking to make things worse. But if he destroys it, he can end this. But he's scared that if he does that, then he'll also get rid of the people inside that game. So like he's having this moment of like back and forth with himself. Because if he keeps the game, bad things could also happen. But if he destroys it, he can never release those feelings. But he'll also be doing some bad end result. He'd also be doing such a bad end result. He doesn't know. So then he puts it up on eBay. They then sells it because he just like he feels like this is the right thing to do, to not leave it out in the open. He doesn't want it anymore. He just wants this to be off his hands. He wants to try and forget about this experience. And then that's when the sequel is going to take place. After that, that's the basic premise of the story. It's summary. Yeah. Especially with all the fucked up shit that happened to him. And because he realizes everything that's going on. So a little creepypasta. Yeah, because that's like a truly traumatizing experience. And then there's no game creepypasta that compares to that. To that like sheer like perfection of a creepypasta. Like it's the perfect creepypasta ever to be made. Yeah, because nothing can compare to that. Then, look into every. Yeah, we should just like keep going on about creepypastas. I can clean this up. Like, anyway, I want to go to like the Sonic.exe creepypasta. I want to go on to that. Nah, I want to talk about like the Sonic.exe creepypasta now. You're just gonna tell you this one. Talking about creepypastas. Anyways, so the Sonic.exe creepypasta like is like the second game creepypasta to be made. I'm not sure. They try to like do this thing too to make it fun, make it like good. It's just like shit, but it comes off as like, in retrospect, it's like a very bad story. The main character's name is Tom. I remember that. You have Sonic.exe, which is basically what? Okay. Oh wait, gotta get that water. Open. Okay. Yeah. Yes. You'll find it there. Okay, let's go to the topic Sonic.exe. First off, I want to say something. There's like confusion between like what Sonic.exe really is. There's like multiple things. All he really is just like a being, like a bodiless being without form, and he happens to take the body of Sonic, and he creates a world of characters. He creates that world to himself. He's basically the ruler of there. He controls anything that goes on. He's like the cartridge itself. Putting it in opens up the portal. Yeah, it's just like he opens up the portal and shit. There's like a portal thing where like, okay, if you place this cartridge in, you open up the portal. He has control over you. He wants to like permanently open up the portal so that way he can destroy all human life. That's just the basic thing of him. And he'll kill you. He's just like trying to get his place everywhere possible. What makes Sonic.exe a bad story too is that the person playing it has no control over what happens. It doesn't matter what you do. The characters are always going to die. And that's the shitty part about it, because just knowing that you can't do anything, but you still go on to do it is stupid. They don't end up destroying the cartridge, because, like, Sonic end up, like, taking your soul or some shit. Like, self-aware game, crashed the game, stuff all over. I think, like, the game itself, the people who make fan games of Sonic.exe are usually, like, better. Because then they have, like, a stronger story where you control them. Like, you control the characters. There's Fate. Yeah, like, it's kind of like a Telltale game, where, like, you control everybody's fate. But, like, you don't know the outcome of it. So it's just, like, the Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman all dying. And, 3 characters. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, really cares. Alright, Sonic.exe. If you read its story, you can understand why I went to the Creepypasta wiki. Because, just look at it. Literally, Sonic.exe is a Gary Stew. Just like a perfect being. You have no control over him. He does everything you should. It's fucking. Also, it's unrealistic timing. Like, where, like, Tom, the main character, is always just, like, apparently just, as somebody puts it, he always has a stopwatch on him. He's always, like, counting the seconds, just like, just waiting for it to load time to start that stopwatch. Ah, yes, it took about 3 minutes for it to start loading up. Fucking Jesus, don't have to be so specific with the time. I mean, like, you didn't happen to do it. It was like, the time isn't important. What's important is the story. Jesus. Ugh. Well, I want to read some stories on this podcast. Specifically, I want to read Tails Get Strolled. Which story's better? Yeah, makes it even better. Anyway, so Sonic.exe is just fucking trash, to be honest. Not a great character. I don't think there's much thought put into him. But I guess there kind of is, because he's like, blah blah blah. People say that Sonic's possessed, that's what, like, it would make more sense if Sonic was possessed. Because there's, like, this thing with, like, creepypastas that involve .exe in them. There's usually, like, a being that possesses this character. Kind of like Zalgo. You probably don't know who Zalgo is. He's just a character that's usually seen in, like, comic strips. He's just a trope there. He appears in, like, one comic strip that one time. As he's just, like, a character. Just a character that appears there, and he just brings the message that I'm coming. That I'm coming. I'm going to come for you. You're reading this. I'm coming for you. And that kind of makes sense, because, like, he appears at random. Like, it kind of makes him a bit scary. It makes him a scary fellow. Makes him a scary boy. Very scary boy. But he's not real, obviously. Yeah, I fucking... Like, if you were a child reading that shit and you just saw fucking John Arbuckle bleeding from his eyes and blood coming from the ceiling, there's tentacles coming out of a fucking pot, you'd be scarred for life. You would actually be scared. Like, that's the shit, how dark it would get. Yeah. That's the whole point of him. It's just, Yeah. Anyways. Ooh, that was just a little side thing on Zalgo. I don't know why I like that name. It's kind of fun to say. So, another thing is that, Tom also seems to be a little bit of a Gary Stu himself. Both, just like avoiding conflict and stuff. I think that there's some good creepypastas out there. But they've been kind of... Because anybody can think that they could do a creepypasta, just make a fucking... Just see something that is kind of scary to you. Ugh. It's stupid. You can't do that correctly. Some of these can get really good. There's a lot of Sonic creepypastas, to be honest. Like, everyone tries to capitalize off of Sonic.exe. So that was a bad story. There is one good Sonic creepypasta that I know of. It's the, what was it called? What was it? It had something to do with Tails. And, like, Tails is dead, and it's like an ARG. It's like an ARG, alternate reality game. Gotta watch it. It's actually rather good. You can come up with your own theories. Yeah, there was also... I remember there being one... there was one interactive ARG on TikTok. So, shockingly, yes, there's good things on TikTok. It was really good, to be honest, because, like... Yes. What was his name? I forgot. Yeah, it's actually a very good story. I like it, how you control the character's fate. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, we just went into ARG territory now. Guess this was podcast is actually all about. Just go on a conversation. You keep that conversation going, and then you just keep moving. Go on with that, and then you just stop. That is what it really is. Anyways, I think that's yeah. Anyways, I think it's about time that we stop this. Yeah. About time that we stopped this. We went on our little tangents about creepypastas. We went over a summary of one, complained about one, talked a little bit about an ARG creepypasta too. Pretty good. So then, that's the end. That was actually fun. Yeah, boy.